what's up, guys? Corey has no life here, and welcome to the belated first impressions video for the Husets Speedway. Brand new content to iRacing. Of course, as always, we're kicking things off with the Dirt Legend, and let's go exploring.
Oh, smoking Jesus titty cinnamon, that is a monster! That's gonna be sweet!
Alright, so as always, we're just going to do 5 laps and just see how the car feels. There's no setup for Husets for the Legend, so we're just going to run the baseline set. So 4th gear is the way to go here. Oh, it's a nice track. Well rendered. It's a little bit loose here for the old Legend.
That was your fastest lap of the session. We've got good fuel data.
Oh, yep. Yeah, it's a fun car to drive. It's a fun track. You can tell there's going to be a lot of good racing around this track. We start our last lap now. And it looks like it's not going to be bottom line dominant either. Like even in just a Legend here, it drifted up off the bottom when I tried to enter low. But that is 5 laps. Now let's see what spaloring we can do. I don't think there's too much on the outside of the track we can do. And the infield is pretty basic. But yeah, with that revelation, as we jump down the big berm here on the bottom of the track, it's going to be time to move on to the next car. Alright, here we go now for the second car in the fleet.
Give us a few clean laps to get our fuel numbers.
And this one is the non-wing stock micro. See how this one handles the track. Yeah, lack of power can really catch you out with this car. But it seems to be handling really nicely, although that's a wall hit, and so is that. So we're going to have to restart that one. And like with the little cars like this, there's so much room to move. It just seems to be a little unsettled with the track condition the way it is. Like 3 and 4 just sound really nice.
14.237. That was your fastest lap of the session. We've got good fuel data.
This is a little bit more stable mid-track. It's got a good pace mid-track too, actually. This is the last lap. We come around. And that is how we're going to end off the stock micro, the non-wing. So now we'll move on to the next car. Alright, the next car on our list is going to be the Dirt
Give us
Mini
a few
Stock.
clean laps to get our fuel numbers.
Car that I haven't actually covered in a first impressions video because it came out at a weird time. So that third gear is going to be the way to go here, although straight to the fence coming out of 4. This is where you can really see just how short this track really is.
15.799.
It's deceptively wide, but it appears wider than it feels.
15.186. That was your fastest
But
lap
it
of
could
the
also
session.
appear very
We've got
narrow
good
at
fuel
the same
data.
time, which, you know, a bit weird.
That was your fastest lap of the session.
Just like that, we're already about to start the last lap. Mini stock's always fun to drive. And that is going to do it for the mini stock, so now it's time to move on to the next car.
14.865.
Alright, here we go now for the next car in the list, and it is the Outlaw Winged Micro Sprint. It's a Formula 500. The Outlaw Formula 500 with the wing on. And this would actually be a really good track for these things by the looks of things. Oh, that's a fence.
12.572.
But with how small the track is compared to other tracks, this would be a good micro track. See, the speed is already pretty cool. The outside line is also not too bad in this thing, so is the middle. If I get down the bottom again.
12.395. That was your fastest lap of the session.
Yeah, coming up off the bottom is really sketchy in this thing, especially if you hit the lip on the inside.
12.312. That was your fastest lap of the session.
And just like that, oh, the 5 laps is already complete.
12.239.
Time for us to move on to the next car. Alright, here we go now. The next car in our fleet, which is the Dirt Street Stock. And I'm having troubles getting out of the pit lane apparently. Down the banking, straight onto the track we go. And straight into the fence. Now typically, Dirt Street Stock line is right down around the bottom. I think if we do that too much, then we're going to rip off the front bumper because of the way the inside berm is.
14.88.
Also very hard to just nail the bottom in these things. That was very loose. Try to run the high line.
15.177. We've got good fuel data.
And I stopped it up. The high line's not too bad. Not fast, but not too bad.
15.537.
This midline feels really comfortable in the straight stock. But I bet you the pace straight stock's still faster. With the tires and everything.
14.78. That was your fastest lap of the session.
Had a big screen freeze going into turn 1 that time. And that is 5 laps complete of the Dirt Street Stock.
14.809.
Alright, next car on our list is the big block, the 358 modified. Again, we're going straight out onto the track. So that apron there is definitely going to be a hard one to manage for some of these bigger cars if you're up towards the front of the pit lane by the looks of things. And the setup for the 358 here, very tight. Really does not want to try and slide much at all.
13.884.
Really got to try and give it a boot pull with the track being this grippy still.
993. We've got
Just
good
to try and
fuel
get that
data.
nice slide out of the rear end. Once you get the hang out of it though, it's not bad.
13.613. That was your fastest lap of the session.
Yeah, I think it might just be a little bit too tight. So setup builders will have fun loosening this up a little bit.
13.47. That was your fastest lap of the session.
If I can get off the fence. And that is 5 laps of the 358 modified, done and dusted.
14.6.
Time for us to move on to the midget, I do believe. Alright, next car in the
Give us a
list
few clean
is
laps
the
to get
dirt
our
midget.
fuel numbers.
This time we didn't go falling off the bank,
Looks like you knocked the toe out there. How's it feel
but
to
I
drive?
did hit the fence.
Looks like one of your wheels is out of alignment. You'll have less
So we'll
grip
try
out
that
there.
again. Some of the new voice lines right there as well. So here we go for the midget. Seemed to run out of banking real quick there. But the high line will be fun to drive around here in a midget.
13.845.
See what the low line's got for us. Low line, not too bad at all.
12.954. That was your fastest lap of the session. We've got good fuel data. Thirteen point one six.
Hit the high line another shot. Cut it down.
13.421.
I was going to go for a fast lap here, final chance of going, but not to be. And that's 5 laps of the midget. Time to move on to the limited late model.
13.036.
Alrighty, now it is time for the limited late model.
Give us a few clean laps
Have a
to
crack
get our
around
fuel
here at
numbers.
Husets. I kept it off the fence this time. Nice. Let's see what we can do in 5 laps. Doesn't really have the power to push it too hard up high. Oh, that tight coming out of 4 could be an issue. Gotta reset here because that did big damage to the car. But yeah, it's definitely tight there.
13.135.
As my wheel just about came off
That
the
was your
desk.
fastest lap of the session. We've got good fuel data. $13.182.
See, the inside line is easy to drive, but it's not overly quick.
12.789. That was your fastest lap of the session.
I reckon the midline will probably be about better, although looks like I'm not really catching up to those times. And that is 5 laps complete of the limited late model.
12.929.
Time to move on to the 305. Alright, now it's time for one of the things with wings that go ballistic.
Give us a few
The
clean laps to get our fuel
305
numbers.
sprint car. See what we can do in the 305. It's pretty stable at top.
12.302.
Don't worry about the extra corrections, that's just because I can't fucking drive. We're also seeing the banking has a big effect on the way the cars act, because you're going up a hill into the banking. Already 3 laps in the books.
That was your fastest
The
lap
low
of the
line is
session.
definitely the way to go. You can hold it flat down here really easy.
11.
We're on the last lap now, going to go high once more, just hold it flat. About a half a second difference there between top and bottom for me. But now it's time to move on to the next car. Alright, now we get into the big block modified for some laps of reckoning around Husets. If we remember, the 358 was a little bit tight. Big block does not have that issue. It's almost as if they made the setup for the big block modified and then just transferred it over to the 358.
14.01.
358 doesn't have the power of the big block modified. But the BBM is fun to drive around here though.
13.269. That was your fastest lap of the session.
Top, middle,
We've
bottom,
got
it
good
don't
fuel
matter.
data.
It feels comfortable everywhere.
$13.294.
Start the last lap now. Oh, that's a big wall hit.
13.214. That was your fastest lap of the session. Looks
Oh,
like
I
you're not
damaged
control
something.
out there. How's it feel to drive? Looks like one of your wheels is out of alignment. You'll have less grip out there.
And that is 5 laps complete.
14.729.
Time to move on to the 360 non-wing sprint car. Alright, now it is time for the 360 sprint
Give us
car.
a few clean laps to get our fuel numbers.
The non-wing 360 sprint car, that is. Let's see how we go. Typically setups for these used to be really tight. This is actually pretty comfortable, easy to drive. Except for when you push too hard into the corner.
12.821.
Oh yeah. Smooth as silk.
12.256. That was your fastest
Even
lap of
runs
the
good up
session.
high.
We've got good fuel
Good
data.
up high too. Not very much difference between low line and high line at all there.
That was your fastest lap
Already
of the
on
session.
to the last lap. And that is it. The 360 non-wing sprint car is done and wrecked.
That was your fastest
Now
lap
it's
of the
time for us
session.
to move on to the Pro late model. Alright, now it's time to have a crack at the Pro late
Give us a
model.
few clean laps to get our fuel numbers.
The second fastest of the sedans. Pro late model, very nice around here actually. Could put on some good racing if you like nice close side-by-side racing, but I can also see it going to absolute trash if there's too many trolls in a race, or just too many people who drive over their heads.
12.937. That was your fastest lap of the session.
This is fun.
We've got good fuel data.
I'm actually enjoying driving this around here.
12.834. That was your fastest lap of the session.
Nice lap. Oh, we hit the wall
12.873.
in the middle of the straight and I completely ruined turns 1 and 2. Either way, this was still fun. Now it's time for us to move on to the next car.
13.369.
Alright, here we go now. The 360
Give us a
sprint
few
car.
clean laps to
Sprint
get our
car.
fuel numbers.
And after this, it means there's just 4 cars left to go. So your torture of having to listen to my voice is almost over. Just thought I'd bang in the top line lap straight away. A little bit of lifting is required, and you can probably full throttle it if you slide the jobbing up into the top. Which, yep, you can. But if you want to run a consistent line like the top or the bottom,
11.3.
then just a little lip is
That
all
was
you
your
really
fastest
need.
lap of the session. We've got good fuel data.
It's not even a full lip either, it's just a partial lip.
11.087. That was your fastest lap of the session.
We're already starting the last lap now.
11.4.
Very comfortable setup though. I think it'd be very competitive. If you know how to drive it right, that is. And that is the end of the 360 sprint car. Time to move on now to the UMP modified. Alrighty, now it is time for...
Give us a few clean laps to get our fuel numbers.
Wow, I started streaming, I didn't even realise. But now it is time for the UMP modified. That's why you should always pay attention to what you're doing. The UMP and I generally don't see eye to eye.
13.344.
But this does not feel too bad actually.
.474. We've got good fuel data.
But I couldn't get this thing to go where I want to put it to save my life. So it's a decent setup though. It's easy to drive. Make a mistake, it's easy to drive out of it.
13.536.
Sure, this could put on some pretty good racing actually. But that is 5 laps done and dusted. Time to move on to the next car.
13.489.
Alrighty, now it's time for the 3 biggest engines
Give us a
for
few
the
clean
dirt
laps
ovals.
to get our fuel numbers.
Kicking things off with the 410 non-wing sprint car. Not very much full throttle time there on the straights. Oh, but it feels so nice there up top.
13.021.
A little bit too close to the fence. Drive it down the banking. That's a fence.
12.45. That was your fastest lap of the session. We've got good fuel data. 12.36. That was your fastest lap of the session.
Oh, this thing is just so nice to drive. Such a good track for these cars.
11.965.
I reckon all the sprint cars are going to have fun races here. But with that, that is the end of the 410 non-wing sprint car. It's now time for the Super Late model.
That was your fastest lap of the.
Alright, penultimate car time now. It is the Super Late model.
Give us a few clean laps to get our fuel number.
See how the Super Late model handles around the Husets Speedway. Quite nice actually. You can drive this one-handed. It's a nice balanced setup. Don't have to push too terribly hard. It almost drives itself.
12.695. That was your fastest lap of the session. We've got good fuel data.
I do say it almost drives itself. But you can tell it's very quick around here. It can be difficult to hold a line by the looks of things, just because of the power of the rear wheels. But that's a problem for people posting sessions to figure out, I guess. But that is also 5 laps of the Super Late model done and dusted. Time to move on to the 410 sprint car. Alright, here we go. It's the last car on the list now. The 410 sprint car.
To get our fuel numbers.
Oh, a little bit of a screen freeze there and I hit the inside fence. Alright, let's try this again. The 410 sprint car. Oh, it just absolutely glued to the track. Such a good setup. It's not even over revving.
11.03. 10.86. That was your fastest
Damn,
lap.
10.8
We've got good
to
fuel
kick
data.
things off, running the low line. That's pretty sick. It's a super fast track for the 410 sprint cars.
That was your fastest lap of the session.
The banking combined with the track state that I got it set to is just absolutely letting me rip this hard. We're already on the last lap. That's how quick it's gone. And just like that, that is our first impressions video over of the Husets Speedway. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Oh, smoking Jesus titty cinnamon, that is a monster! That's gonna be sweet!